According to the common consensus of older generations, Gen Z is demanding, fragile, and perfectly happy to let others do the hard work. But workforce medical data reveals a contradiction. Young professionals are routinely pushing themselves to the point of physical collapse. This chart from the 2025 DAC Health Report shows the rate of presenteeism, choosing to work while actively sick. For employees under 30, that number hits 77%, which is significantly higher than the rates of their older colleagues. Nearly 80% of these young workers drag themselves to their laptops because they refuse to abandon understaffed teams. For 44%, the motivation is a specific concern that taking a sick day will result in negative career consequences. We are now looking at a cohort of rational actors responding to a system that threatens their livelihood. For decades, the economic contract was simple. Hours worked would eventually translate into homeownership, security, and a comfortable retirement. This tracks the housing market against incomes. In 1990, an average house cost €206,000. Today, prices jumped 130% to $500,000, while wages stagnated. Young workers must save 14 years for a down payment, double the previous generation's time. Housing is only one side of the squeeze. The other is a demographic shift inside the national pension system. This visualization represents the shifting old age dependency ratio. By 2035, a shrinking pool of young workers will shoulder the financial weight of a larger, longer living population of retirees. They already contribute 20% of their wages to Social Security, while subventioning the system with €100 billion in annual tax subsidies. The imbalance is severe enough that the DIW proposes a boomer solly, a solidarity tax on wealthy retirees, to prevent the financial exhaustion of the incoming workforce. When a 25-year-old stops saving for a house, they've accepted the math of unreachable milestones. Facing economic decline, young people seek information in the algorithmically driven space of social media. Platforms like TikTok utilize the valence arousal model, which prioritizes emotional intensity over positive content. This loop shows how the system works. Because negative emotions like fear and anger trigger higher vigilance, the algorithm amplifies that content to maximize engagement. It detects a spike in emotional arousal and pushes more of the same material into the feed. The rapid delivery of high arousal content overstimulates the brain's reward system. Studies link this problematic use to increases in chronic stress and depressive symptoms among young adults. When an algorithm rewards outrage, it pushes users into digital filter bubbles. These spaces provide simple, highly emotional explanations for complex crises, often blaming specific groups for the user's economic anxiety. We see the result in recent voting patterns. Among 18 to 24-year-olds, the share of the vote for the right-wing AfD tripled to 21%. The rise in extreme right voting follows a digital path, where real economic anxiety is harvested and converted into political alienation. This data reframes the idea that young workers use sick leave as an excuse. Generation Z actually maintains a below-average overall sick rate of 4.7%. While their absences are more frequent, they are extremely short. This reflects a post-pandemic strategy where staying home at the first sign of an infection protects the office from wider outbreaks. Systemic psychological burnout is the invisible epidemic in the data. In 2023, nearly a third of all young women under the age of 19 received an outpatient psychiatric diagnosis. Unplugging at 5 p.m. or taking an abrupt mental health day functions as a necessary boundary to prevent a clinical breakdown. The economy demands cognitive output and tax contributions from young people to support a system that offers them very little in return. Generation Z is surviving a historic squeeze. Their behavior is a rational adaptation to a society that has failed to uphold its side of the contract.